Welcome back to a very special edition of Good Morning Crest. I'm Tameka Harris. Today we're talking with the WOCV staff and talking about our tenure here at WOCV. So with that, I get to now welcome to the set Josh Runkles, my manager, or our CTV manager, and I'm very grateful for that. Josh, thanks for hiring me.
Oh, you're welcome. I finally made it on the show.
You finally made it on the show. And you know what? I think of all the people who have been on, or not really on Good Morning Crest, but been here at WOCV, you have been the one to most evolve here at the station. And I say that because you came here first as an intern.
I did. I came here, I guess it's almost been 7 years. Probably in May it'll be 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I stumbled upon Oak Crest by accident. I literally walked in to meet my friend Steve at the time. I was in a class at Towson with him and he wanted to show me the studio.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea that there was a facility like this here. So I walked in and immediately just blown away. You know, I hadn't even met any residents yet, didn't even get to that yet.
Mm-hmm.
I just said, I have to work here. Get me a job here.
So you never even heard of the Oak Crest model?
I didn't. I wasn't familiar with it at all. He just said, look, you have to come here. You have to see what's going on where I work.
Nice.
And I walked in immediately. It was that quick. I said, I have to work here. He said, well, you know, we don't really have any jobs available right now, but let me see what I can do. And at the time, Brent Hoffman was his manager. And he talked to Brent and came back and said, look, we do have an internship available, so you can come and volunteer your time. So that's how I started here. I started as an intern, working for free and just kind of learning the basics.
So did you ever think, once you became an intern, officially an intern here, did you ever think that it would evolve to you being a manager?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think I did. I mean, I really had that plan all along. I could see myself, even when I first started, beginning to change things, beginning to kind of change the culture of the studio a little bit. And I just kept doing that over the years, and I knew at some point that I would be in a position to really take the reins. So I looked at, you know, the last few years as kind of priming myself to, you know, kind of sculpting myself to get to the point where I am today. And, you know, I saw a lot of opportunity for change when I first started here. And I couldn't be happier that over the last couple of years I've been able to, you know, evoke that change.
There are a few things I want to talk with you about today. One, the changes that have happened or occurred in your life personally while being here at WOCV, and then professionally while being here at WOCV. We talked on a few things professionally. I'll get back to that in a little bit. But when you first arrived here on campus, you were what everybody would say, single. Let's just put it out there.
Well, I don't know if I'd say it was single.
Well, okay. But you had a lady of interest at the time.
I did. I'd actually just started dating my wife at the time. So I was doing a lot. You know, I was in my senior year at Towson. I was still managing a restaurant over in Pikesville. I was doing this during internship, and I was also freelancing a lot, doing work for University of Maryland, some different sporting events. So I was pretty busy when I first started here.
And we also have your proposal on tape, as well as Jamie has been here on set too for an engagement show. I like to say those kinds of things because residents like to be involved in our lives, not only here working at the studio, but they also like to know about what's going on personally with us.
Yeah, of course, and I like to involve them as well. Like, I look at many of the residents as my own grandparents. I see them a lot more often, that's for sure. So anytime that I can, you know, bring my family life in a little bit, as you've seen recently on Baby Love, I was able to bring my son in. He's almost 2 years old already. Into everything. So yeah, that aspect of my life, I've always been wide open with sharing that.
So when I think of the person who has been most the butterfly here at WOCV, I think of you because you've been the one to really change from an intern who got married, who has now a home. We've been with you through everything, really, when you bought your first home and now with your child, and so we're just waiting for the next thing. I have literally grown
up on TV.
You really have.
So what do they call it, a child star?
Yeah, yeah, you really have been.
I'm going to look back at this, so this was my my child star.
This was the peak of everything for you, so it must feel great to invite the residents into your life like that. Now I want to talk professionally. Not only have you been here in the I guess change of WOCV, but you know, I'd like to talk about the technology too that has changed along with the morning show. No longer do we use VHS.
Beta? What is VHS?
What was the technology like when you first were here?
I mean, that's right. When I first got here, all of our shows were recorded on a big chunky VHS tape. I mean, talk about the difference in being able to store your data now. I mean, now it's just on a DVD and a book.
Yeah.
You can store almost the equivalent of 3 VHS. You can store thousands of DVDs in that same amount of space.
And honestly, you might be the manager to bring us into the digital side of things.
I hope so. It would be great to have a database of all of our shows, you know, just digitally. That'd be excellent.
But you were behind the force to bring us from VHS, which is more of an analog, and I mean, DVD is somewhat analog too, but you were the one who just kind of helped with that whole changeover. How was that?
Well, it was great. It was a great feeling to be able to take a lot of those tapes and put them in storage. You know, and now we're kind of pulling them back out and trying to transfer those over to DVD.
Yeah.
But it was such a difference just to, and talk about image quality. I mean, our shows started looking better the second we switched over to DVD because the playback is going to be much clearer. You know, it's still going through a lot of different layers to get to the home, but if the start of that image is crisper, obviously when it gets to the resident's home, it's going to look a lot better.
Not only has our medium changed from what we actually record on, but our cameras and our control room has seen a change under your tenure as manager.
Well, it was a couple years ago, I think, when you and Chris got here, we said a lot of this needs to be revamped. A lot of the equipment was almost over 10 years old. So it was time. We got new cameras, you know, we changed the whole set, a lot of things. And we're getting to that time again. You know, a lot of things are starting to age. We might need new furniture here. We'll change the setup a little bit. But that's what I love about it. As you said before, we need to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
And that's what we continue to do, to keep the programming at the forefront and just keep bringing the best that we can.
I think the cameras we had before these that we're using right now, they were what, 12 years old when Chris and I got here?
12 years old.
And look, when we came here in the studio, we almost would have to give the cameras coffee because they were just like taking the, it took all morning for these cameras to turn on.
We'd hope that somebody got here a little bit early so they could turn that camera on and give it the 2-hour warm up.
The camera was like,
that
hold on
now,
I'm waking up.
Sometimes we'd have to do the show and you would literally see the camera start to shake a little bit back and forth because it still wasn't completely woken up.
Well, what now is your goal as manager looking into the future?
I'd love to see our programming reach more people. And I say that, yes, within the community. I want to reach everybody in the community. But I want to see it reach more people outside of the gates. I want it to be more of a tool used to bring people into the community, to start their lives here. And I think one of the ways we're doing that is, you know, starting the YouTube channel, really going out and trying to promote WOCV more.
Beyond the gates.
Beyond the gates, yes. Bring people in that way.
Definitely.
So I think we can be such a great tool for, you know, every department here. If social work needs a specific video, we can create that for them. They can show their employees. They can show people outside of the gates. If pastoral ministry, you know, wants to do a labyrinth, for example, we can create the video that they need to show people outside of the gates. Hey, look what we're doing at Crest. I mean, how many retirement communities have a TV studio? Besides Erickson? None that I could think of.
Right.
So we need to really use that as a tool.
Yeah, this is definitely a platform that can really change a lot of lives and show folks the real side to living. And I think nobody does that better than Erickson. Well, it's been real. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk with you today. Now, you know what happens now. I get to go behind the scenes and handle the show. Then Josh Runkles is actually going to host Christopher Tatus, and they're going to have a little discussion on set. Continue watching Good Morning Crest here on Channel 973. Stay tuned.